my old friend. I've grown the times we had hanging on the wall. I wouldn't trade them for gold, 'cause they laugh and they cry me.
I mean, it come right out.
We are back on the land after being at the hotel room for 3 days, more determined than ever to stay out here because it cost so much to stay at the hotel. It was probably, I think it was like something like $350. We got a good rate, and it was like $350 for 3 nights. It was just ridiculous, but we did get our grip together and our grit together, you might say. But because it's still cold, and I think it's going to get like down to 29. What?
Back forward.
Huh?
You have to go put your seat forward.
Oh,
again.
okay. Give me a second.
I was trying not to interrupt your video.
This is part of the video. I know you guys can't see anything really, so it's okay because we're setting.
A little cloth handle where you're supposed
So
to
we're gonna sleep in the van because at least we can turn the heater on, you know, and warm it up. I'm not gonna run the car while we're sleeping. So, but Scott's laying in the floor of the car trying to get the seats out so that the kids at least can stretch out. He's going to sleep in the seat of the truck. This is only for a few nights so that we can get our little one-room house built. I know this is hilarious.
I'm suddenly reminded of Remy Zero. Somebody save me. I don't care how you do it. Just save me.
And the little doggies are like, what in the world? But, okay. So anyway, I decided that I was definitely gonna get more of our moments, and trust me, we have lots of them. Oops, I keep dropping the phone. He's laying on his side trying to get the seat out. I think it's about to come. Anyway, so this is going to be our caboose for sleeping for till we get the house, because we don't want to be in the tent. Okay, I know you didn't get much out of this, but I just wanted to catch the moment. Bye-bye. Okay, so we have spent a night in the car, and I need to turn this over. I always do that. Always. Okay, so we spent the night in the car, and it was warm because I could just turn on the car whenever it got a little bit chilly, and the kids could stretch out because Scott took the seats out of the van. Say hi, kids.
You cut off my face.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Now you cut off my head. Up. There you go.
Say hi,
Hi.
She sounds so excited.
I live for coffee.
Joe.
Oh.
Say hi.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott, who is the most amazing man in the world, worked till after dark last night, making sure we all had a bed. Slept in the seat of his truck. And went to get us omelets this morning driving. Well, he had to go get gas, but he went to get us. Yeah. He went to get omelets at a mom and pop breakfast place or restaurant, but he had to drive like 16 minutes to get there. Webs. So anyway, he come back and we all had omelets, which was really sweet of Dad. But they only gave us 4 forks. 3 forks. So everybody had a fork but Dad. So he went and took a pop bottle or tea bottle or something and fashioned him an eating device.
Shovel.
Shovel.
Why don't you show it? You're sitting there using it.
No, he's done. So he sacrificed again for us, the most amazing man in the world. I love you, Daddy. So, today is our big day. And it's going to get up to like 61 degrees. It's going to be tropical. And
If that's tropical, this year when it gets up to 90 or 95, we're going to be dying.
I don't want to hear any complaints of hot weather.
I'm not complaining, I'm
Gimli?
just saying.
Anyway.
You got something shoved under this chair. Right here.
So we're going to start building today. And Daddy's going to get poles while we clear ground. And hopefully we'll make some really serious progress. This is the lower side of our property and it's a real thicket. And so I think I'm going to turn this around.
I think it was the box.
Okay, so this is the lower side of our property and you can't see it through there. But the road, there's a road here. The sun doesn't come up here for a while. It's the western side. My dashboard now looks like a messy countertop. I will clean this up. But beyond the road, there is also a lake. So anyhow, we are where we're camping. I don't know if we can get this, Emily. See if you can get a pic of the hill, the knob. We are actually building up there on the knob. And already the sun is shining and it's getting warm up there. So, but this place is really cool because there's lots of straight poles to utilize and grapevines, neat grapevines. I used to make grapevine baskets and stuff. So I know how to make grapevine baskets and all kinds of cool stuff out of grapevines. So that will be neat because we can make some of our own baskets. Unfortunately, before we bought this land, it was also the local dump. Now, I will say this. Before, out in the country, I know this for a fact, out in the country, before garbage pickup was a thing, people started purchasing from stores and started getting garbage before there was any place to do anything with it. So they would generally go out on the back side of their property somewhere and create what they called the dump.
Dig a hole.
They didn't dig a hole. They just found a little hollow and started dumping their stuff, like tin cans and bottles and whatnot. So when you find these dumps on old pieces of property, generally it is because that was before they started doing garbage pickup. Garbage is a big deal. And where we were before, you know, there was garbage pickup, of course, in the burbs. And then they had a transfer where you could take large, you know, like a truck full once a month or something for free. But, oh my gosh, it's horrendous. One of our goals of being up here is to go trashless. I know we're going to have a little bit of... Scott's laughing at me. It's one of my goals to go trashless. And it is really hard to do as long as you're buying. But if you buy in bulk and you grow a lot of your own food, and, you know, you're going to have a little bit of paper and whatnot to burn, but you need paper to start fires and that. So I really think that it's possible to at least in a large percentage go trashless. Another one of my goals, you need to think about your goals. What you want this place to be to you. Another one of my goals is to just slow life down. you know, you're always going to have work to do and everything, but I'm just tired of that stressful rush. People pushing you in traffic, people pushing you in business, people pushing. And sometimes you just push yourself. So I want to just slow it down. What are your goals for this property, Dad?
Get someplace to live and someplace to work, basically. we want to do a lot, so we have to have a place to do it.
Yeah.
So we have to have a place to do it, and there's a lot of work to do, whatever you need done. So in order to build a house and have a place to work, well, it's going to take a good little bit.
Yeah. Emily, what's your goals for here?
I know I had some yesterday.
She had a rough night.
I think you need to go to a commercial.
Emily is an herbalist, so wild crafting and creating herbal remedies is a big deal for her.
Yeah.
Joseph is just in another world. Okay, guys, we are gonna cut off right now because we got a big day. It's gonna be warm and beautiful, and we are gonna hustle. So hopefully we'll get some of that on video too as well. Bye-bye. So we are on and off, I know, but we decided, seeing how we're going to have more rain, more cold, we go ahead with our primitive shelter. I know we can't make up our mind. Indecision will kill you. But in the process of collecting things for our primitive shelter, Scott decided to nick himself with a chainsaw. Quit digging in it.
And he
I'm pulling that open so there's peroxide.
And he keeps touching it, so I keep having to disinfect.
I'm not touching it, just I'm pulling on it. See, I'm not touching anywhere near it.
So I'm boiling water so that we can properly sanitize, and Miss Medical M, Herbal M, is preparing to Dr. Hefalda.
If we can get him to sit still long enough.
It ain't that bad. Don't even need stitches.
Where's the alcohol?
Are you serious?
No, seriously, I need a sanitizer.
You need a sanitize? Okay, I'll have to.
See, I told you.
I'll have to go
Especially
find
now.
it. Okay, so we need an extra hand to roll tape, but anyway, Scott decided to at least get a somewhat deep skin laceration with the chainsaw, and it has been thoroughly cleansed, much to his chagrin with iodine, and numerous washings with peroxide, blah 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 blah, while I run up and down the hill looking for supplies. And so now I'm back and we are taping him up.
So you go back to work.
And now, because there's one area where it's slightly deep, and if he bends his leg the wrong way, it wants to bleed.
Use some of that paper tape.
We don't want it, as it heals, getting, you know, busting open or anything. So yours truly gets to use the chainsaw, and he gets to sit on the tractor dragging poles and whatnot. So we will go back to work, and Papa, look at the camera, dear. If you don't slow down and be more careful, Mama's going to kick your butt.
The look on your face right now is terrifying.
It'd be easy now because I can't run.
Mama doesn't like it when Daddy gets hurt.
Howdy there. Well, it's been about maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours since our little escapade into first aid. And we got a nice log wall actually done for our primitive shelter, because it's gonna like go like diagonally up to that ridge pole up there. If you can see that, like right there. And G is sharpening the well, these. There's 6 total in these. We had to tie them together to keep the logs from accordioning or whatever. And sharpening them is a bit of an art. So
I don't know if it's art, but
well, getting a decent grade down to the point.
and Dad can't bend his leg, and we don't want him to tear that wound open anymore. So he's on, and the chief cook is put to doing more manly labors, so we're a little bit of a pickle for lunch. So Dad took the lawnmower down to the cars to get our Easter candy just because we're desperate, while I sharpen the poles. A little bit of a kink in the get along, but we're going to do this. Main thing is safety first, but when we're married to a wild Scotchman, it's hard to get that safety thing in their head. They just go at everything just like wild men. Did you ever hear the Scottish story when the Scots were fighting the Brits in the very beginning, when it was more like just right after the Picts? The Scottish men wearing their kilts, and they were, back then they were black-headed and tattooed, you know, and they had their full traditional kilts on, you know, and everything. So they went into battle and they ripped off their kilts and went running into battle, stripped stark naked, and the British were so taken aback that they just lost. There's one thing about
until they got used to it, and the Scots eventually realized that going into battle vulnerable and prone probably wasn't the best idea.
It's one thing to go into battle fighting men. It's another thing to go into battle fighting tattooed nude men.
With a half maniac style scream coming out of them while they're swinging a claymore. Anyway. The wild man is being sequestered. More like subdued, because if he bends his knee, his wound rips open.
Mom is gonna make sure that that doesn't get worse. And we're gonna try to stop his adventurous mishaps. He's had both hands in cast, probably a total of 4 to 6 times. He has had so many injuries that you would not believe it. But we're going to slow him down a bit. Actually, the injury slowed him down a bit. So we're sharpening these, and we'll drive 6 of them in the other side. And we are going to have a place to bathe and sleep and heat. Okay, get another one. Okay, that's probably good. Well, Dad cut one more tree under my watchful eye, and now he's relegated to woman's work. No, actually, Dad is a good cook, but he's gonna fix our dinner. Emily is, because we're essentially dismantling our, I'm not even gonna call it a primitive shelter, I'm gonna call it the stupid shelter. She's reorganizing stuff. We built this wall. The back wall is going to be essentially cordwood stacked with some plastic over, just to add stability. This is a primitive shelter. And Joe is stacking that. Now, Joe, you see all those long ends through there? Look here. Look there. See all those long ends? They need to be pushed in. It needs to be straight on the inside. Remember, this is the inside of your wall. And you want all the long ends sticking out. Push it back. It's got to be level with the others. Straight with the others. Get it as straight as you can. Alright. And I'm relegated to doing sort of the man side of these things. This is not my favorite. I would prefer to be domesticated creature.
He's like,